Good morning and welcome back. I'm a little congested this morning, so I'm sorry. All right, but let's here's where we left off. We got the agents installed. We have CMS installed. We did an AD import. So taking a look here, we installed all the agents, inventory, software delivery, patch management. Still running trial licenses, software delivery. We have nothing set up. And software updates, we have no patches, but by default, the policy is already enabled. But if we come over here, we see here's our AD import, populated our users. All right, so patch management's pretty easy. You need a client agent installed, which you just saw we have. If we look back here, over here, you'll see, I'll say patch, there we go. So patch agent on the client is ready. Now on the server side, under jobs and tasks, now I haven't pre-looked, so just giving a shot here, see if it's like 7.6. We totally skipped 8 and 8.1. All right, so we come down here, should be software, patch management, and there's a few things. So let's take a look. There, just package integrity. That's not going to be us. Check software, update packages current for correct alternative download location. This is interesting. So this is new to me. Delete the downloaded packages are no longer in use. That's nice. We'll go ahead and do that. Save it. And of course, you have to do a new schedule. Now, you can set it up daily, weekly, monthly. We'll repeat it every 2 weeks. And the way the 2 weeks will work is based off whatever schedule you set here. So every Friday at 8:50 every 2 weeks. So we're going to save it. And we have nothing downloaded, so we're not even going to run it. Distribute software updates. Make the software updates available on client machines via software delivery. This is new to me as well. All these up here. We're going to need the import is the biggie. Download software update. This task used during staging. Interesting. All right. So import data for Windows. Now, as you see here, for the first time, import available vendors, not started. So we'll click update. We'll let her run. And what you'll get is you'll get a whole list here. This is where you'll get your WinZip or your Java, but you go under Microsoft. Now, you can go under Microsoft and you can check off and uncheck items. So that way maybe your patch listing isn't as bulky and cumbersome. However, there is a problem to that. If you don't go in it constantly and look through the list and re-tick off the things that are newer, like newer, say Windows 10 items, or let's say a new, like example would be if you would have went in and said Windows 7. Well, Windows 10 came out. If you didn't go in there and check it off, Windows 10 wouldn't show up in the list. All right, so we'll let this run. Some of the stuff takes a while. When we go to do the actual import, could take even longer. When I start downloading patches, that can take an hour. So just to keep the video short, I'm going to pause her here time and time again. All right, we'll be right back. Okay, so we're back. We're going to uncheck all. Come on. All right, we're going to come down here. We're going to Microsoft. And like I said, you could theoretically go through them, go, you know what, I don't want to patch .NET 1, 2, I'm not installing them. I'm only doing 4.6. But let's say 4.7 or 4.8 or 5 or whatever. If you don't come back in here and check it off, it's going to be unchecked. As you look, there's access, there's all this stuff. And I mean, I get the point why you'd want to, but it's just easier to sit back here and go, you know what, let me take it all. I'm going to import the patch rules, basically is what you're doing for all of it. Now, you have to hit save before this area will become active. Now, this is a task. tasks you schedule. So we'll do new schedule. We will schedule it. Now, theoretically, so I actually have problems with scheduling these out. So what happens is when a PM import comes back in, and let's say you do daily. Let's say you got patches set up for the month. Now, I always do Patch Monday from Microsoft means Patch Thursday from Symantec. So I test patches Thursday, Friday. I go to our production pilot group that Monday if everything looks good. It gives like a 2 week window, and then we hit our set of our enterprise on the first Monday of the month, and then we hit the really important ones the second Monday, which is actually right back at Patch Monday again. So you see, we patch right up to the end on our most important machines, make sure that they're going to be okay. Now, what I ran into a problem was when a PM import would come in, it would say, hey, this is already revised, and it would actually not roll out, and then our important machines didn't get patched. So what I do is I don't do a reoccurring. Let's say today I was testing patches. I would come in here, I would say new schedule, run now, schedule. That's it. And I just do mine now. Now if you click it, you can click here for details, and you can actually see what it's doing. Um, Eventually you'll see the bar start to say what it's doing. There we go. So, um, like I said, so you could uncheck items, and this can get a lot smaller. The PM import can run quicker. When we get to download the patches, that list will probably be smaller. You can filter through, so it's not really a big deal. Now, while this is running, we'll go over a couple of settings. Now, right now we're doing an incremental import. Delete previously downloaded data for vendors, software languages that are now excluded. I do that. We will come over here. Here's a default location. Automatically revise software update policies after importing. So this is what I had checked off that was screwing me up. But I'll still enable distribution. I'll still do this because I only run the PM import when I am going to. Disable all superseded bulletins. Why not? You got languages for patches you can download. And once again, your vendor list. Let's hit save. Gotta sneeze. Hold on. Oh, some of the guys at work are sick. I hope I'm not getting sick. But let's say, yeah, maybe we'll try it later, like WinZip. We'll come in, we'll see if we can somehow get an older version or whatever and patch. Something I'm not sure. I've never done the software side. Actually, I did. I tested the Java at work. I believe this is actually not really a patch. So I think this is a method you can use patch management for software delivery to theoretically patch them up to the latest. Um, Not 100% sure on that, but for now we're just going to focus on the Microsoft patches. All right, 2 of 32. All right, see now we're on SQL Server 2008. Like I said, it's going to go through that whole list, so which doesn't really take that long. I'll usually start this first thing in the morning. By lunchtime, I'm ready to start downloading, and then that takes the rest of the day because Microsoft patches for Windows 10 has gotten huge and out of control. Now, they say this month, I think it's this month will be the first month of the new patches where they have a smaller size. So I'll be able to start looking into that too. All right, I'm going to pause this out until this is done and we'll come back. Actually, before we do that, let's come back here. So I showed you a couple of the settings here. Let's come over here. So, assistant was not saved. Cancel. Save. I know we saved it, but we'll hit save again. So, the way patch management works is on the client machine, an assessment scan will run. The assessment scan itself, which is interesting, we're looking at software delivery here, should have at least that. So here, if you check off expired, anything you've deployed that's now disabled will go expired. But we should see a Windows assessment scanner list. All right. Okay. So this is not really the setting for the assessment scan. This is the actual, if you wanted to run this on a machine. Um, let's go ahead, go to settings. See how bad is this thing chugging while it's doing an import. Is a virtual machine. Shouldn't be that bad. All right, software, patch management. Don't forget up here, this is the agent settings, which take a quick peek because I'm pretty sure this is where so this here, default Microsoft update configuration policy. This is new to me. This is the one that is actually scheduled on our client, the time. Right here, it is 3 a.m. And what you do is you can't choose what computers this goes to. This is the default policy. It says default. What I do is I clone it. If you right click, you can choose clone. Yeah, it looks like our PM import is tank in my VM. I didn't give it enough resources. But you can right click it and clone it and give it a name. Let's do, we're gonna go ahead and do that too. So our Windows 10 box will be our pilot machine. Um, what you could do is this is how the scheduling gets handled. Now, you have to remember, down the line, before you start bringing patches in for, say, next month, you got to come in here, and if you got 4, 5, 7 of these, you have to reset your schedule first. If you do not, then you will start deploying patches immediately as soon as they check in and are able to. And to keep them alphabetical, you can do different things. You can use 1, you can use a star to put at the top. I'll go ahead and just do 1 pilot. Now we'll just do test machines. Patch deployment. Okay. I can already see this looks a little different than what I'm used to as well. Windows Update Agent. Oh, that was on that guy. But we're still coming down to this one that we just created. Sorry if you heard me sip this hot coffee. Okay, so as I said, so this is our new policy. Now, I'll show you the default one when we're done, but as you see here, there is an applied to now. So the first thing we're going to do is turn it on. Okay, today's Friday. Let's see, 2008. No, we want to, hello, welcome to this century. 2018. No, go here. All right, today's the 5th. Theoretically, like I said, I would usually do on the 4th. I come in on the 5th, do my testing, but just to set up a schedule, we'll deploy over the weekend. Let's say Saturday, and we won't give it an end date. We'll say, yeah, 3 a.m. works fine. Repeat daily, 3 attempts. Allow user to run. Override maintenance window. Okay, we have none of that now. Applied to. Now, I'm new to even 8.x. One thing I did not like, I was trying to figure out was, we use filters for a lot of this, but let's click targets. See if I can figure this out. I was trying it on the software delivery, playing around with it. It was a little interesting trying to figure it out. There has to be an easy way. All right, so here we go. We have this. What do we got? We got some default ones. We're going to say new folder. Still chugging along. 1.lab. Just so I can create my own folder. I have a habit of doing that on every one of these tabs. Reports. I don't leave stuff where they belong. Well, if I create new reports, why would I intermingle it down in the patch section, software section? You can never find it. You travel all over the place to get it. All right, so new. All right, we're going to go again because this targets can be used for anything. We're going to do patch management. All right. I can't right click on that. New target. I am going to post a question up on Symantec forums to ask them, how do you add a filter? Now, the reason why I ask that is, I think it might be right here. How do you add a filter without giving it a target name? All right, let's see. We're not even going to call this patch test machines. We're going to call this test machines. Start with computer. If we hit update results, what you'll find is you're going to start with every computer. This is cool. Only include managed computers. That's new too. Before, if they're retired, they could show up in the list. That's interesting. No items found. Now in 7.6, it always starts. This means it starts with all computers. All right. Add rule. Then exclude computers in and not. Yeah. See. All right. Exclude computers not in computer list. See what we get here. Hello. We were just there. Admin PC is its name. Update results. See, it's a little clunky. What we like doing is taking a filter. You throw your machines in it, and then you just have that to apply. But for us, for now, for this, we're just going to do this. We will change it the other way once I get patches deployed now. And as we see, it's red. Did I forget to make it active? That's new. Clone scoping. No, okay. Maybe it has something to do with it's not in use. I don't know. All right, so targets test machines. We're going to say okay. And I should update in a minute, but repeat daily, blah, blah, notification, notify user 1 minute. New software is ready to be installed. Show progress. Restart. See, these are on different pages now. They were all on one before. We don't force reboot computers. We'll just say schedule at 5 a.m. So if they install at 3, done at 5. At the end of software update. I like that one better. Override maintenance, force application close, notify user about restart. This is also new from what I was told. Restart automatically after 99 days. So if you said scheduled, and you could say a certain time, you can then notify user, and if they defer it, oh, my dogs are getting into something down here in the basement. Maximum number deferral, 99 days, 9 hours. Remind your user restart every 1 day. Use custom notification message. We will say save. Oh, wait, I want to change this back at the end of cycle. So you got to play around with these settings to figure out what works for you. Yeah, my machine's still running a little slow here. All right. Hit save, waiting. All right. Now, this is enabled. We have our machines. Now, we come over to our client machine and we check this in. Should get a new client config, and this should change. It may take a minute or two, especially since things aren't running the best here. And then, as I mentioned earlier, all right, give it a new name. We'll say okay. Refresh the screen. Can't wait till this import's done and get my performance back. All right. So we were under agent settings, software, patch, Windows. Like I said, just bring this guy up here. We'll throw it in another folder later. Like to not worry about that too much. So, and I'll usually move this one. The only thing with moving default things, you apply patches, updates, whatever to the actual CMS, it can move it out of there back to where it belongs. Um, but see if I can show you. So on the one test machine, you saw how we added the who we're deploying to, our actual targets. One of the jobs I had, I actually disabled this default because I cloned it and I assigned other machines. Well, what happens is, this is the catch-all. Look, you cannot set who. There is no target here. This is for any computer that does not have a policy specifically assigned already. All right. This guy's still sitting here. Let's just double check here. I know we set it for October. See, should change to this date because see, admin PC, admin PC. So it'll go. It takes a minute. Things are just not running the best right now. Okay, so that's that piece of patch. That was the settings up there. Settings down here. This should dictate how often the assessment scan. That's what I was looking for when I found that other job. So while we're at it, and we're not there yet, but I'll still show you. Okay. So this tells you how often you want the assessment scan to run. You can modify that as much as you would like, or you can put it off every 12 hours. During this window, which we have a 24-hour window, check every 12 hours. And you can do send inventory only if it's changed. I've had issues with that. Sometimes I had to uncheck this, let it go for a couple days. All right, but what I wanted to show you was where Altiris gets installed. Usually, program files, Altiris, notification server. I mean, all of this is Altiris client management suite folders, but notification server is, you'll get down to the NS cap where the other core pieces are, but patch sits in the outside of it, doesn't go in there. And under packages is where, so here's where the agent is. There's no folder for updates yet because we have not downloaded any yet, but we'll see this will change. Okay, so we set this every 12 hours. What else we got here? Core services. Remediation settings is another good one. Once you get all this set up and the way you like it, things just run. So as I was just telling you, see, it's going to be, you can change the location if you want. Custom severities. Lab critical. What is nice with this is, as I told you, we're doing an import of everything so that list gets big. When you go down, you can actually right click the patches you want. You can set a custom critical, custom severity. And by doing that, you can then sort that column by it, and then it's easier to find things, which you'll see that later too. Lab important. Alright, so we'll just do that. Location save. So that's that setting. We're going to go to patch remediation. Yeah, that little error that comes up, not quite sure what that is. Probably should look into it, but things work. Even with that, it's yellow, so just a warning. Okay, now, so it has patch filter update interval every 30 minutes. Send additional status events for software update policies. Yeah, why not? All right, so here's our Windows Computers with Software Update plugin. Now, I use this a lot for a lot of things for deployments. All right, under Advanced, you can give start end date, packages, delete packages. Now, I do not do this. I do not delete packages. Maybe should. I know it can get large. Actually, now thinking about it, Windows 10 packages. Now, our client machines have 500 gig drives. We haven't had a problem yet. Use multicast, send additional status. All right, all package servers. I don't know why, okay, so by site. If you have like, I think we have 20 sites now. You have to add more. But you could say, you know what, I don't want this to go to Chicago. I don't want it to go to Italy, or you can sit there. Invalid length for B. Okay, so you can sit there and choose certain things that you don't want it to go to. But once again, servers usually have a lot of space. I'm not really worried about that either. So I just do all package servers. I don't use alternate download areas on either. This is a different setting here though. Oh, that's nice. Let's refresh the page. If it comes back up, our SQL Server is up. During our agent install video, we did enable software portal. Good. All right. Remediation. I changed this to... No, I left that. Send additional packages. We'll delete them. You know what we'll do? We'll delete them after a month. Even a year. Even a year is not bad. Because I just don't like... I don't know. Well, we'll figure it out. All package servers. Program. Terminate after. This is kind of nice. So, 4 hours is a long time. Should have numlock on. 2 hours. Run with writes. System account. Program can run whether or not the user is logged in. But this is interesting. It says patch remediation. I would love to have this for software delivery. Hopefully it does exist and we'll find it. Package program settings have changed. You want to run check software update integrity task. Save only. We don't have any tasks yet. So, all right. Let's bring up a new tab. I typically, on my test machines, will set up the home page to the Altiris. All right. Still chugging along, so. Come on. Patch. Policies. And the big is keep it organized up front because after it gets out of control, it is a pain. Drag and drop. Okay. Our second tab was so we can go back to jobs and tasks. All right, well, let's go. Let's jump back here. So here we got this. Come on. Refresh. So I reorganize. All right. So we got over here. Man, my machine. I don't know if it's a SQL Server or what, but I'm going to do some tweaking. I got plenty of processors and memory. I thought I gave them enough, but so I do have a lab running at work already, and it does not run like this, and it's running on a little bit better hardware though. Still, it's a desktop machine. All right, so there we go. Our patch policies are up here. We'll go to reports there while this is still loading. All right. Wow, it is slow. All right, let's go software, patch, compliance, compliance by bulletin. Actually, we'll go by computer for let's click off. Okay, we want the import patch for Windows. Hopefully it'll go. All right, I'm gonna let things sit for a minute because it's just taking forever. So I'm gonna poke around on my servers, see if I can tweak them a bit, and let this run. So we'll be back. Well, I found the error. I found the issue. Originally, when we did the install, I only had one processor assigned. I said I'm going to come back and add another processor. I have not, and look what we have done. One socket, 100% flatline. The sequel box, I actually started on that one. I'm like, oh, this one looks good. 4 processors. We're good on memory. I only have 8 gig assigned, and 4 processors, 36%. Not bad. Yeah, this could be a problem. Now, I don't know if I'm able to do this. Let's take a look. All right. I don't know if I have hot add processor enable. I try to do it usually, and sometimes I forget. Even this thing's running a little sluggish. Come on. All right, CPU, memory. All right, we got plenty of processors. We're gonna throw 4 at it. Hit OK. Reconfiguring VM. Failed. Not supported for this virtual machine. Great. Okay. Not a biggie. All right. So let's come back here. Let's take a look at this job. All right. I bet it's still going because the way it's running and because it's 100%. Yep. Okay. So important note. More than one processor, at least. Dual core, maybe. All right. I'm going to put us on pause, let this finish out, and then we'll reconfigure and continue from there. So we'll be back. And we are back. So it took 44 minutes, 45 minutes to do the import. Now remember, even though it says imported 4,982 software bulletins, 25,000 updates, that is, it did not download the EXEs. It's all just informational. It's just, so just remember that, you know, you didn't download gigs and gigs or hundreds of gigs. Another nice thing to note here is on your PM import, there is a version number. They do matter. I know I was working with tech support and I'm talking to him and I bring up this and he looks and he says, wow, I just got in. I just did an update on my machine before calling you. And I actually had a newer one than him. So always watch out for that too. Know what version PM import you have. Now, with us doing that, now if we go home, actually before we go anywhere else, let's go ahead over to our Altiris server. And let's log into it correctly. Hey, look at that, CPU's under control. We're going to shut down. Okay. All right, let's go put some CPUs in this thing. Okay. Come on. So it's interesting. I actually had memory in this thing. I had ECC memory and I swapped it out with non-ECC memory. Same speed though, only because I actually had more non-ECC RAM to pump it up. It seems to run a little slower. That's just an observation. All right, so we got 4 processors. Now we'll go ahead, power it back on. All right, I'm gonna let her go, let it boot up, let it get things going. Okay. There we go. 4 processors. Task Manager performance should look a lot better. All right, so we can go ahead and continue on. Okay, we're back, and if you look at the time, it's a lot later. I'm still working. I'm working from home, and this is a part of work as well, even though it's a test lab. I'm learning, taking some time to learn the software and what's where and how I'm going to be setting stuff up. So anyway, we last left off. I clicked on Windows Compliance by Computer report, and here's our 4 machines. Here's what we got. No restart pending. Now this was blank before I ran the PM import. Something I am curious about is software delivery. See, somewhere along the line, I don't know if it took, I think it was the PM import actually downloads the latest patch assessment tool, and it ran. So there's a few things here with this. If you double click, get all your info, where it's grabbing its packages from, the run history, but details. This GUID at the very top, not the task ID, this very top GUID on the local machine, you can navigate there, and this is where all software typically goes. We see program files, Altiris, Altiris8, agents, software management, software delivery. Anytime a piece of software comes down and installs through software delivery, even these expired items, these guys here, they will all cache here. And that's why that one setting we checked off, how long do you want to keep it before you delete it? There's our patch assessment right here. So, there's app metering, agent. So the biggie is, you can always look in here, but we're back on patch. So instead of in software management, we go to patch management. We're here. Now, excuse me, there will be a install log.csv that shows up here, 8.5. I'm going to assume they kept the same name. And when you open that, it'll tell you what patches actually went to a machine. So if I look at a machine like this in this folder, I do not see that. Altiris did not use patch management to install any patches. All right, so let's get back to this. Right, so what we're going to want to do is back on the server. Well, so right off the bat, admin PC, we take a look. Saying there's 9 applicable, 7 installed, 2 are not. Okay, we're going to get this because I added those processors, but let's do view applicable because I'm going to see all 9. It'll tell me which ones are installed. Okay. So Windows 10 Pro, let's see, installed. Top 2 are not. Okay. Now, as we see, these other patches were installed. That's interesting. That's last month. I've had this test machine around, and I did have Altiris8.1 up and running, so I probably patched it that way. But anyway, so if we take a look here, we have 2 that are needed. Now with that, if we come back here, and we go back to patch management, now you can get to patch management 2 ways. You can go home, patch management, or you can go to actions, software, patch remediation center. Now, this one shows software updates, assessment scan. This has a lot more to it, the other OSs. But in 7.6, there is a subtle difference. I like one over the other. Now, I think I clicked this earlier and it was blank. But see all these? I told you with the Microsoft, you're going to put this huge, huge list. We have 4,982. Here we go. Applies to. See, this is the one I do like. So if we look here, it'll tell you what the description is. But a big thing is if you actually do by applies to, and you sort, you can actually see your machines and what they need. Now, from what I've been doing for the last months, MS1802W10. So this is Microsoft Security Patch 2018 in February for Windows 10. It's cumulative, which means you do not need the one previously. You do not need MS1801 or 17 or down and down. So what I will typically do is I'll sort by revised. Oh, I was there. Come on, go back. And what we can do is okay. So this doesn't apply to anything, but sometimes this only updates when the assessment scans run. So on a fresh day that patches just came out, you just ran the PM import. Really, machines haven't started running the assessment scan to know if they need it or not. You'll learn in your own, like, okay, Visual Studio I don't deploy. Hub Diagnostic, no. Office 365, no. Windows 10, I do. Now, cumulative update for Windows 10 1709 and Server 1609. All right, let's get these. Nope. Squish some of these in. Okay, so depending on what versions you have out there, you're going to need multiples. Now, this cumulative update is everything. It's okay, it just says 3 updates. It will be, when I say everything, it's all patches for September. Okay, now that is the MS1809 W10. If we go down to MS18, if I can find it, 09. Oh, that's new. Office 365 are now on this list. So here we go. So here's the W10. Here's security only updates. Now, that's all we do, are the security onlys. Because why should you, well, it depends if you want to patch every little thing. We're more worried about critical. So what I'll do is I'll come in here and I'll go, I just went past it, didn't I? Let's scroll back. Okay. Now, theoretically, all of these within this list will encompass all the versions. Now, you may sit here and go, 1507 is end of life for Windows 10. You're supposed to upgrade to the latest, 1703, 1803, 1809 was just out. What this 1507 is Long-Term Service Branch, LTSB. LTSB 2015 is version 1507. LTSB Enterprise 2016 is LTSB 1607. Okay? Now, since this is my lab, I don't need to waste all this space and downtime. We only have one Windows 10 box. It's a Windows 10 Pro. It's an 1803. It even says it's applicable. So you just right click. Now, you can highlight a ton of them and say distribute. That's not what we do. We do it individually one at a time, so they end up on the list, individual patches. Now, because it's one, you can just download it and then wait till it's done, or you can click distribute and set it all up. But what we're going to do is we're going to go, okay, see it is critical, so we're going to say lab critical, okay? That's the Windows 10. Now in my environment, let's come back over here. We also have server 2016s, 3 of them. So we're also going to notice in the list eventually. So here's Windows 7. As you can see right here, Windows 7, Windows 8.1, Server 2012. There's .NET, there's Excel. So there's all kinds of stuff to do here. You'll see .NET. All right. So what is this? That's the one we just said was all patches. I'm not going to deploy. And Let's see, here's 4458, 469, V2, which is identical. So I have no clue. I still need to learn that on my own. SQL Server 2017. Okay, so SQL Server is going to go with feature updates as well. Interesting, and be patchable. So I look down this list. I don't have, like I said, not that everything else has really run an assessment scan. But the nice thing is with the custom severity is when you go through, and let's say you scroll through 3 pages and you want to go click on them to download them. How do you know? Well, we did set custom severity, didn't we? All right, let's take a look. All right, I know what it was. It was MS1809. And a lot of times what I'll do, if I'm not sure what I'm going to deploy is, I'll do this, and throw a dash, 09. That'll give me everything for this month. If it makes a smaller scrollable list, it gets them out. All the MS1709s show up. So when I look here, and we look, MSNS18, this guy, custom severity, lab critical. Is that not setting? That's interesting. Okay. Hey, let's do a run again. I hope we don't have to do a run. Just previously, if this, they're supposed to do away with Silverlight. If Silverlight is gone, then you may have to refresh the page. Yes, you do. Look at that. But see, now you can just sort by your custom severity, and now you can just click and deploy. So Intel microcode update, MSNS 18. All right, so we got that. We got those two. Let's see. Internet Explorer, Adobe, Flash Player. They're all, they're supposed to be cumulative as well. That one doesn't say it there. It's interesting. But we're going to go ahead and assign them lab important. Even though they say critical, I'm going to say lab important. And let's look for that system center. I want server. MSNS, but I want MSNS 18. I want MS 18. Oh, right. So 1809. Our Windows 10 does specifically say just Windows 10. Sometimes it'll be for Windows 10 and Server 2016, but maybe because of this. All right, so this one has Windows 10 version 1803, 1803, and Server 2016. Here's some more servers 2016s. Great. So this is always the fun, figuring it out. Now this one could be because of the server. So what we can do is we'll go back into our server. All right, CPU looks a little better. Let's launch the Altiris agent. Software delivery. It has completed. That's good. We'll run it again anyway. Now I have Task Manager up. Go to Details, sort by CPU. You will see AEX Patch Util or Patch Assessment come up and show up. So it must be done already. Yes, it is. Okay. Now we're going to go back to a report. Let's do this. So for Server 2016, It says 11 are not installed. Now, this 11 will be, like I said, optional and full. So you can do MSNS, which should install all of them, which we'll see right here. So we have one installed. It's this guy. But when we look, oh, this is the Altiris client. So we did install some server office pieces, and it looks like they need to be patched already, which can be scary. Now, some things you don't always want to deploy. Here's an example. I was talking to patch backend support. He saw I didn't have this one installed. He said, good, because when you install this one, then later on there's a 002. You install that one, it puts this one as uninstalled and reinstalls, which uninstalls the other. It's like an endless loop. So they were working on that on their end. So let's do release date. So here's the patch we need. Look at this, MSRT1809. Well, that's new to me. That's a new patch naming. I'm going to have to find the patch naming convention on Symantec website again, because previously they have one with the whole MSNS and that stuff. So MSRT1809. MSRT 1809. Oh, it's just malicious software removal tool. Yes, you probably could patch your entire environment. I'm not. So we're not going to care about that. So, okay, Microsoft removal tool. Here's Office. This is .NET. Windows 10. Now, this is a problem I ran into at work, and I haven't, this is a new environment, and it has not been applied here. If you notice, yeah, there is 1808, but there's no 09. It's not applicable yet. There was let's go back here. We're going to have to deploy this. There was a fix that came out. Servicing stack. Now, all the way back here, servicing stack down here actually fixes an applicability rule for detecting patches. But what we're going to do for servicing stack, 1803, 1709, 1607, 1703, 15. We're going to download each one. I think that is as far as we have to go. 1703, 1603. Yep. There we go. We should have all the versions encompassed here that there is a servicing stack update for. We're going to mark that as critical. So we have some patches to do now. So like I said, we can sort by custom severity. Of course, don't forget to take that off your grouping. Oh my God, Silverlight actually had a little bit of a benefit. We got to rerun this report. That's a little bit of a PETA. But HTML5, obviously it's a web page, it doesn't auto refresh. Custom severity. Here we go. Now, as I said, you can highlight them all and you can make one giant patch set and call it October 5th patch deployment. Yeah, you can do whatever you want there. Now, what I do is I will highlight them all, right click, and I will just say just download. What this will do is this will allow them all to come down, all the updates here, which that's not too bad. And when they're all done, then I'll individually right click each one and then I'll set them to go. So I'm going to let this go. It should tell us the amount of time so you'll get to see when it's done, but we should have a lot of stuff. Like I said, not too many, but you do a full month patch. This takes me a full day for downloading. It depends on your connection speed. Here at home, I got 278 meg down, up to 300 meg down, so that will help. But 444. So be right back. Okay, we're back. Only took 5 minutes.
But I had to get up and walk away anyway. Okay, so we downloaded them. Now if we rerun this, what we should see is available packages. Because here's the update. So when you download, oh, they've added superseded. Oh, that wasn't here before. You had to go run a report for that. And policies. We have 0 policies. All right. So if we look through, applies to 1. Excuse me, applies to 1. Available packages 3366, blah, 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 blah. You can drag and drop. I said you can drag and drop. There we go. So 36. Sometimes this doesn't work. Your network could hiccup or something. But there we go. So we're good to go. Now, we're going to close those. We're going to come back over here to our setting policy. From what I recall, right, we had this one, which this client should have updated by now. 3 a.m. See, October 6, 2018. Remember, we changed that here. And this guy should still be this. Now, we don't want that because this is theoretically your enterprise deployment because, like I said, it's your catch-all. So what you can do, 2018, and theoretically you're going to give time. So we'll do, today's the 5th, so we'll do 10/22. All right, save. Okay, so that's good. So our machine here. Now you can go outside of this schedule, which I'll show you. I actually do that with all my old patches. Let's bring that back up. Oh, let's bring that back up. Okay, let's go ahead and start getting these done. So right click, distribute. Applies to 4. Now this is the beauty. With what we did at the other tab with those policies, setting up schedules and everything, you're setting this is what it applies to. This is one policy. You don't have to do multiple policies targeting each of those. Just do one. Because this one is going to be your software policy that will use the schedules over there. Okay, so that one's done. Distribute. Next. On. Distribute. All right, I'm going to pause this, run through these, make this a little bit shorter. It's already up to an hour almost. Okay, last one's finishing up. So it is now complete. So there's 2 things while I was doing that it came up. First, let's just do a run so we can get this to refresh, and we now should see one policy across all these. Now, one thing I did realize, there's a test lab. I don't have any other servers in here yet, but what I will say, one thing that would definitely be good to have, you don't want your Altiris server or your SQL server rebooting because of patches. If you notice, I did set for automatic patch reboot. So let's do 2.Altiris and SQL patch policy. Okay. So we got this. We'll enable it. We will allow user run notifications, fine. Show progress is fine. Never restart, which makes all this irrelevant. Go back to schedule. January, no, we're going to do 10. It doesn't even matter. So 5, 8, 9. We'll do the 9th. Allow user to run, which will be nice. Apply to. Oh, so this is going to be interesting. No recently used. Let's go to targets. I'm not used to this. Usually I could just select the kind of what we're going to do here, but right in here, I didn't have to do this. All right, let's click here. New target. Altiris and SQL CMDB. Start with computer. Add role. Exclude computer not in computer list. Altiris8.5, add rule, include computer in computer list, SQL, update results. Always click that update results. You don't have to at that point, because if you hit OK, it'll fill it in for you. But if you don't pay attention, you may end up, especially with this, before the other window, it would go back and it would show you down here, which we will see, and just make sure the number's right. All right, so we say OK, we got 2 machines, we save this change. Now, theoretically, we have access to the server, SQL Server and whatnot. Let's bring up SQL. Okay, so what I'm going to show you, if you want to hit a bulkier machines like what we just did without clicking that update config, let's go to software updates. You'll see it's 3 a.m. 2008, right? Will this go any further? Yes, it will. Okay, 2008. If you go back to the agent, click home, manage, jobs and tasks. I'll probably do a jobs and tasks video too, because there's some pretty cool stuff in there. Automation policies will do. Excuse me. All right. I'm going to just do a search because I don't know where it is. It's probably under samples, but update. Okay, update client configuration. This is definitely nice. So let's come down here. Right click, new folder, 1.lab, jobs and tasks. New, we're not even going to create a folder. We're going to actually, can you just clone it? Yeah, you can. You can clone it, or you can just go new. Oh, I forget which one it is. Task. All right, well, new client config. Update client configuration ASAP after random period if you had a large environment. We're just going to go ahead and take this. I could have cloned it. I could have moved it. I like creating my own at times. All right, quick run. You can choose your machine. So we're on the SQL Server. Run. Waiting for tasks. Come on. Did I jump too quick? Might have. No, it should be. It's right here. It says succeeded. There we go. Look at that. Monday. It did go to 2018. 3 a.m. January? Did we leave it January? I didn't think we did. It's one of these tabs. Not that one. No. Should be 10/9/2018. Yeah, there's our box. It's there. Yeah. Sometimes for the lab, I try and rush through. Things do take a little bit to go with. This should settle down. But anyway, let's just move on. So we have these 3 policies, so it is nice. Now, what I want to show you is if you do have patches you want now, very important that it has to go now. What you can do, so we already checked our machines in. I also use this to check in my package servers when I create a new software job, because all my package servers, I want them to start replicating now, and I'll run that on them. So if we go down to policies, when you create those patches, right clicking, they actually end up over here. And once again, like I said I would normally do, I'll create a new folder, 1.lab policies, new folder, patch policies. And we have all 2018. So if you have a big environment, what I also like doing, if it's been around for a while, is give it a year. And what happens is, if I come down here, these are the patches for this month I'm deploying. Next month, I will come in here and I will do this. Okay, I want these to go now. So what I'll do is every one of these policies, I'll come in here and they're set normally like this. Because without the other than agent default, we define the schedule. I'll click run as soon as possible. And then I'll hit save. Now this is the servicing stack, and I told you the other patches won't show up as applicable until the servicing stack comes out. So let's go ahead and run through another servicing stack. Now it's going to say applicable to 4. That's what we're targeting is 4. Doesn't mean it's applicable. So that can get tricky because we have like 5,000 machines, well, all different slew of OSs. Well, this one's W10. On it also says 5,000. Patch management is good enough with the policies and the way you have it set up that it understands. I think, okay. Servicing stack, we'll do this one. I should actually just take a quick peek at which one's applicable, make sure that's the one we do. Applies to. So it's the 6655. This guy. Save. Okay. So we are good here now. On this client agent, check this guy in, new config, and they will start popping in here. Some of them will become ASAP, some of them will not. Oh, this is cool. I don't recall this. Okay. Let's give it some time. Sometimes it happens pretty quick. Yeah, we got a lot of errors in here. These will start going as we start getting other pieces going. Once we get software delivery configured and running, we're doing patch now. Those errors will start subsiding. Okay, I'm going to let this sit here for a little bit and wait for them to start populating. Okay, I had to do some digging and diving and try and remember. So I've been patching for a while, and just within the last couple of months, I noticed only our Pro machines were going. Windows 10 Pros are what we call LTSB, long-term service branch. We're not. What it came down to was a few things. One was that stacking servicing stacking, servicing, whatever that I showed you. But in addition, I forgot about these guys, 1805s, that were also needed. As you look here, this one's needed, and this one is needed. So this one's from, now, even though this says for Windows 10, 1607, no, our server 2016 is theoretically 1607, and our Windows 10 is 1803. So that's the issue I'm having here. So I'm going to go ahead and download these, and I'm going to run through my setup, how I was doing it earlier. So got 9 to download. I'm going to set them up, and we'll start back up, and then patches should start showing up on the clients. Okay, it's almost done here, 9 to 9. We're getting there. If you remember earlier, I was showing you packages. Now this updates folder wasn't here, now it is. And here we go. Here's all our patches. So if you want to manually delete stuff, the best approach is you come into patch management. If you were going to if you're going to get rid of old stuff, right, you come in here and you would actually take this and you would actually right click and you would say disable. Now, that doesn't go disable the policies that you've just created. So you disable your policies and manually and let them sit so all the computers check out, or else you're going to fill up your event log with a ton of errors. And then you delete that policy. Well, sometimes this folder doesn't get cleaned out. It should if you do that process. If that process works pretty good, right click disable, then you go and you delete. And at night, because you've disabled this, it'll go from recreate package to download. So that tells you it's gone. It may not have deleted the files yet, but it will. If you don't do that process, you can manually come in here and delete these if you delete the policy, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, okay, so we have that. Now let's go ahead and distribute. Next. All right, yeah, so we have 3 there, 1 here. Something I didn't do yet for future. I want to set the custom severity of these. This is obviously something critical. You know, they say critical, and you can make it a minor if you want, but I'm going to make a lab critical. Okay, now we get rid of this. We run again. Sort by custom severity. And there's all of our lab criticals, lab importance. If we looked at, oh, one superseded. So this one updates 3 applies to one machine is superseded. Probably by this guy. But see, that's the trick. Some of these don't get superseded. So, all right. Well, that kind of throws off my thinking on patch management and what we need to do with this computer. No patches available. Okay, 721. So what I did was originally I went in here, took a look here, and then server side I looked and went, needs this guy far back. This one's already listed to install, but it's not installing yet. This is killing me. Like, what is going on here? Why are we not getting patches? Alright. Let's refresh this. Yep, a couple more popped in, but the 721. I think it was 721. Go back to view. No. 1805 W10. 721. This guy right here is superseded, which is fine. Alright. I'm going to let it sit for a couple of minutes. Okay, I got it. So, once again, trying to do a lab, trying to do a video, trying to rush through things. So let's come back down here. Administrative tools. I'm on the server, the CMS itself. Task scheduler. Now there's some tasks in here that need to run. Look at this. Say installation will start 57 seconds. We'll just let that go. So I'm not sure which one. I just come through and I just fire a couple of them off, whether it's right or wrong. Patch remediation settings, yeah. So if you let this sit overnight, it'll do it. It'll get itself going. But as you notice, though, only my 205s went because if you look up these KB article numbers, the one which is this one is the servicing stack. This is the one that will fix the detection rule, and because it's broke, this is the Windows 10 for that month. That was okay, but June, July, August, September will never go until this guy's installed. So we'll go ahead and do that. We'll install. Update this. Should throw them in here. The server was there. We go. Nice and quick. MSNS 1809. Now, these named a little different. This test machine I've had around, I think, through the 8.1, so most likely it got patched already with the 0.5. Let's look at our sequel. Click update. Bang, immediately up 0.5s. So when I went to set up this environment, I left the admin PC alone, but the sequel and the CMS server I had to rebuild. I had to build new because it's server 2016 and 8.1 would not install in 2016. Software updates. Oh, software update is ready to be applied. Okay, well, install it. All right, there we go. It's going. And we don't show that to our users. All right, now see, our Windows 10s, the 2 patches it has are scheduled out as we've dictated when. And of course, you can always come down here. Oh, look at that. That's new too. I usually, as you saw, I come here to assessment scan and run it. But now they've moved it right there. But we're going to go ahead and start. Just to, just to show you. You probably hear my dog rolling around on the floor in the background. Alright, sort by CPU. So once we click this, come back here. There it is. And as long as that's going, install now. And like we said, so you've scheduled out. And if you've got like certain department with certain computers that are in and they're gone for the weekend, you can deploy patches that weekend and auto reboot their computer. Yeah, you can create those policies however you want, and this is how we go. So patches are going. With this, see if I still have it up here. Okay, so they're installing now. They haven't updated this yet. As I told you, on a local machine, an install log.csv should get created here at some point. All right. Nice, it's finally working. And yeah, just getting a lab up from scratch, and it's not like I've been having patches go, then everything will flow a lot easier. This is the initial, get it up, get it running, figure out where you at. Okay. So, our one patch installed. Did not pop up a message saying a reboot was required. I've noticed this as well, that this patch will install and sit here in like an hour or so. You know, once again, another scheduled task needs to run. More will pop up in this list that are after this month, June, July, August, whatever we have enabled will show up. This guy, of course, will go on the 9th, as it says. And we'll just go ahead and let it go now. All right, there we go. All right, so patches are going. So these machines should not reboot. Our Windows 10 box should. Restart pending. That's another neat little thing. That never did that before. And this is the biggie. It's like over a gig and a half. All right, so they're going. This one, we'll go ahead and fire this one off as well. Okay. So we have all of our patches going. 1, 2, 3. And it's as simple as that. I mean, there's not a lot to it. It just takes time, initial configuration setting up. All right, I'm gonna let these go and we'll be back. Okay, here we go. We're back. Look at this. Restart pending on both of those. Alright, we're going to restart now. This is our Windows 10 box, so we're going to lose console access, whatnot. We got here. Whew. This thing's still installing here. And this one's still installing here. So, they're very large install files. And the reboot takes just as long. Okay, we're up. Go ahead and log in. Okay, we're up, we're in. Let's, I don't see the icon yet. Sometimes it takes a little while. And sometimes you can just go launch it. Okay. Alright, agent log. Huh, failed download, backing off. Alright. Status software. So here we go. Oh, look at that. So it already installed these that quick. See? Now these two did not show up because the 05's May patches were still pending. So we're going to go ahead and reboot again. Alright. Okay, so our Altiris server finished and restarts pending, but didn't pop up a window, so that's interesting. It should at least pop up a notify. Now, it may have been a setting I didn't set. I know on our client machines we do pop up that a reboot is pending, and just it's annoying, it's in the face. Alright, so let's log in here. Okay, so we're back now. Another reboot. Let's take a look again at the agent. Keeps jumping up the log first. I don't like seeing that because there's errors. And it says reboot pending again. Interesting stuff here. This is, I forget, this just came out. Hopefully it's not a flaw. Let's start assessment scan, see if we can get that going. Okay, it is running. That's how I like making sure it ran when I click stuff. So that's run up. And look, it went to installed. Nice. That's what I want to see. So with that, let's go ahead and launch IE. Let's go to reports, all reports, compliance by computer. Okay, admin PC now has 8 applicable, 8 installed, 0 not installed. Nice. View installed. And that should give you a wrap up of pretty much everything, how to start it from ground up, at least get it going. Everybody's situation and scenario is different, so configure it however you need it. You can use, like I said, you can use custom naming, and I deployed the MSNS, which I said was everything. That's why everything installed, even the malicious, swear, whatever, removal tool. I like deploying MS-18s for security only. I don't want to patch. I know you should be patched on everything, but sometimes you may not want to. But anyway, hope that was helpful, and I hope you get something out of it. And if you have any questions, post it up. Thank you very much.